Welcome to Forking Around with Flavor South Florida. I'm Kerri Paisley, CEO of Flavor South Florida. We are sitting down with entrepreneurs, business owners, and influential community partners to talk growth, trials, tribulations, and more. These conversations lead into Flavor South Florida, the region's largest restaurant month, happening every September from the 1st through the 30th. If you're in hospitality or thinking about building something meaningful in this industry, you're in the right place. Pull up a chair and let's get into it. This episode is sponsored by Ultima Caviar. Visit them at ultimacaviar.com. Today, I am so excited to introduce Briana Beaty. Briana is the one who founded Flavor. So Flavor Palm Beach was the original name of the program back in 2007 for the OGs of Palm Beach County. If you know, you know. I would love to introduce Briana to the podcast.
Hi, Kerri. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. And I am so excited when I was bringing the guest list together and brainstorming of who do I want to speak to? Who do I want to interview? You were like right up at the top of the list. And when launching this new piece of the program, it only made sense to me that the person who is brainchild this was be here. This is like fantastic because I want to tell the viewers and everyone, I get asked all the time, like, how did you start this? Why did you start this? I'm like, I didn't start this. She did. And I can't speak for you in answering those questions. That's why I now need to know all the answers and ask you, how'd you start it and why'd you start it?
Okay. Well, I didn't want to be honest. I had been working in Miami and New York, and they have fabulous restaurant week, month type promotions. As a young girl on a budget, that was like the best ever. I mean, I would plan my trips to New York based on New York Restaurant Week to be able, and I plan out every restaurant, lunch and dinner where we were going to the 21 Club at least twice. And Miami had this great Miami Spice, which was, I think at the time, maybe like a month long. And I look forward to it every year. And when I moved to Palm Beach, we didn't have anything like that. And the restaurant scene was a little different. Like our nicest restaurants were like less chef-driven dining experiences, more corporate steakhouse as like the upper end. But I still felt like we had enough to make a special event. So I called all kinds of organizations and companies and said, this is such a great idea. You guys should really do this, because I wanted to go to it. And they're like, oh, wow, thanks for calling. So while working full time, I was like, well, how hard can it be? And as you know, it is a little challenging. So I was calling these restaurants and explaining my idea during my lunch break. And after work and on weekends, I was knocking on their doors and trying to not bother them during food service, but be there in time to get their attention. I think the first year, I had 17 restaurants or something like that participated, and they all loved it. And so the next year, continued to grow and to grow. And it's just one of those things that kind of needed to get traction. And so as we were growing, I think Palm Beach was also growing as a culinary destination, and just kind of that interest in general in food was sort of developing. So we got to be on the same playing field while that happened, which was really fun. And then you get to meet people who aren't just a corporate chef, but the actual chef that loves being in the restaurant. So it made me fall in love with the business from a different angle, not from the girl who wants to try different restaurants and knowing what I'm going to spend before I go, but it was from really caring about the area and caring about the chefs and learning about it. So I came in from one angle, but I ended up with a different one. So that's how there's Flavor Palm Beach.
So where did you move to Palm Beach from?
My grandparents were from the Palm Beaches. I lived in Vero Beach, then I went to University of Florida, and then I was working in Miami, which is where I experienced Miami Spice, and I would go back and forth to New York. And then when I met my husband, I moved to Palm Beach, back home.
And you have a marketing background, right?
Mm-hmm. That anything would prepare you for putting on what Flavor Palm Beach is. It's more than marketing. It's also like a human connection with the chefs, because especially at that time, there was a learning curve toward it. They were like, what do you mean a dining week month? Like, what are you even talking about? So I don't know that marketing would have even helped. It was more like begging and pestering and trying again and again. Those skills were very, very helpful.
You're like, I just want to eat food when it's slow. But you came up with the idea of it being in September also, though. So you had data to support that, I would assume, to choose that month. Or did they guide you on that month?
Both. I mean, living in the Palm Beaches, you feel that September is slow. Like at the time, there was a restaurant called Three Forks, which was a steakhouse on PGA Boulevard. And you would go there any other time, and the piano's playing, and there's people waiting in the hallway to get in. There's, fancy cars at the drive. And you go in September, and they're like, "Hi, welcome. Pick any table you want," So even without the data, and I think the second year I started working with Open Table, which was a great partner for us. I said, should we adjust our dates? And they said, "You're in the right lane. Stay in September. That's exactly where you need to be. If anything, do August and September because those are both slow months. But if you really want to be at the peak, that's September."
I've had restaurants ask me if we could start in August, and I keep saying no. I know Miami Spice is August and September, but I feel like September is special for us, and it's always been special. And I'm already seeing, here we are in the summer months, I'm already seeing restaurants put out 3-course menus now. But it's funny because, so you started Flavor in 07, right? So next year will be the 20th anniversary, and we're going to have a big party. And so it's funny because, these restaurants are like, oh, they're putting out these menus, but I've had restaurant staff say to me, oh, I had a diner call me in August and say, hey, do you have the Flavor menu? And they're like, well, Flavor is in September, but we have a prefix menu. It's very similar. Come in tonight. And the diner said, no, I'll wait till September. We'll see you in September. And I'm like, but that's a true testament to the name and what you created, because I think the public gets so excited about flavor. If it's not a flavor restaurant or a flavor menu, that's exciting for the public.
I agree. And I think someone said to me a long time ago, I said, I really like, I want to support these restaurants in the best way. And they're all asking for more time with flavor. Should I do it or not? I don't remember who I was speaking with, someone at Open Table or Zagat or something, that you can't prostitute the brand. It's got to be special. There's got to be an urgency to get in and to enjoy it while it's there. In a bigger market like Miami, there's more restaurants, there's more area to cover. But I think still in the Palm Beaches, we are a little more condensed. You want people to not think, oh, I have plenty of time to enjoy this. I want you to have a sense of urgency, get in there, make your reservations and enjoy it. Otherwise it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
And that's why I know you do too, but I would really work with restaurants and say, don't just throw together a 3-course menu, make it special, make it representative of your menu, show off, because this is your chance to win someone back. Because if this is a reach for someone, if this isn't somewhere where they would normally eat, if this is a little bit outside of their comfort zone, price zone, you still want to be their top of mind when it's Susie's birthday and they want a special place to go. You want to be a special place. So show them how special you are.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So we always start with a month. And occasionally I would send out an email and saying, Flavor's officially over, but here's a list of restaurants that are going to be continuing to offer their menu for the next month or whatever.
A lot of them do, a good amount of them do. I want to say like 40 or 50 of them extended into October last year. And that's great. That means they enjoyed the experience. It worked for them. But it's funny too, because the August thing for me, it's like, it's never, I'll just say it here or now, like it's just never going to happen ever. Now, when I acquired Flavor from you, it was Flavor Palm Beach. I did not intend on changing it to Flavor South Florida. That was never I wasn't set on doing that. But I had so many Treasure Coast restaurants that came to me and were like, we want this, we want this. So 3 years ago, I did Flavor that nobody remembers because it was such a little flop. I did Flavor Palm Beach for September, and then I did Flavor Martin County for October. That was not the right answer. Honestly, now we're running 2 separate programs. I just doubled, right? I mean, 2 separate things. And I'm like, this is silly. Everybody just be at the same time. And it's really growing in the Treasure Coast too. And they're really enjoying it. And that's been exciting to see that growth and the growth in the Palm Beaches and the new chefs that are coming in here every day. And you were saying before that you no longer live in the Palm Beaches, and there's even where you are, things evolving and the culinary scene evolving. I think it's just the culinary scene is so hot right now.
It really is, and it's fun to see the creativity behind it and the ingredients that matter. And like I watched this cooking show on Netflix about how chefs and they share their stories about where they're from and why they were inspired to cook this way. And it makes the food taste better. I'm not kidding. It does. You're like, this is special. It makes it taste better.
No, it's true. Okay, so you said you started with 17 restaurants. I did find a few little like really old flavor promos. And can you remember one of the like a few of your first ones that signed on? This episode is sponsored by Ultima Caviar. Experience exceptional. Visit them at ultimacaviar.com.
Café Chardonnay.
Uh-huh.
Three Forks.
Mm-hmm.
Ruth Chris. Seasons 52.
One more. I'm going to give you one more.
One more. Did I already say Capital Grille?
You did not.
Capital Grille.
4 of 5 of those still participate today.
Nice.
Three Forks is obviously no longer with us. RIP for Three Forks. But the other 4, and I always say to Frank at Café Chardonnay, I'm like, you're the OG. I always give it to Frank. And Frank is, I think he's the president of the
Restaurant Association.
Yeah. So he's like super invested into everything in our restaurant world. And he's been on doing this for so obviously so long with such a successful concept. And he'll be joining us on the podcast as well. But, it's how are those restaurants hitting those 20 years,
He's also really, I know, to be a restaurant with that longevity and such a hard business. And he's so generous. A bunch of his employees have been with them a really long time too, which speaks to how well and he runs his restaurants. And he's so transparent and so willing to help. Like if I needed help or advice or whatever, I knew I could always ask him and he would instantly offer me whatever support he could. And I think that's probably why he's been around so long, in addition to fabulous food and great service. Like you give what you get, and he gives all day long.
Yeah. And so many of these restaurant owners in this area, the successful ones, are very much like that. And it's funny, I often get asked how you and I met. And as the story goes, let me think. First, I believe, did we meet at Capitol Grille first when I was the marketing manager there? Or did we meet at Sandpiper's Cove first?
No, Capitol
Grille. So yeah, and that's what I tell people, even previous to me. So I'm from New York originally. We have New York City Restaurant Week. And before I met you or anything or even knew Flavor existed, when I first moved down here, I was so thrilled to find out there was a restaurant month program because I moved here in 2010. So my mom and I were flavor diners. We were those crazy people emailing you going, when are you dropping the menus? What restaurants? What's those? It was me, by the way, just so you know. We were like the crazy people planning out our Septembers. And then I was started.
Oh, it's fun. And
I know.
It brings people together too.
It does. And we had like we still do, but we had a game plan. So I started as a flavor diner, then morphed into a flavor restaurant when I was working at Capitol Grille. You're right, was Capitol Grille first. Then we did flavor there, and I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And I guess we're doing it anyway. And they do exceptionally well with it. And then I started working at that yacht club in Old Port Cove in North Palm, in which you and your family were members there. You were pregnant at the time with, I can't remember which baby. I adore your children.
Like running wild during meetings or dining or whatever too.
I think Jane was little. So probably you were pregnant with Kate, your middle, I think. So then, so I became I was the diner, and then I was the restaurant participant. And I think a lot of restaurants don't realize that's when I'm telling them from, hey, I was in your shoes with this. Yeah. Like, let's go, let's roll. So enough about all that. I want to switch quickly to, what are you doing now? You started a really cool Facebook group a couple of years ago. And tell me about that and the evolution of that and what you're up to.
It was more than a couple years ago now. Palm Beach Moms, actually, as we are chatting right now, I'm getting a new website. But Palm Beach Moms came from being a mom, especially a first-time mom. You're like, what is happening right now?
How many years ago, though? Because I am really bad at time periods. Is it like 10 or more?
Actually, 14 years ago, it started as a Facebook group, a closed Facebook group.
14.
Yep. And the closed Facebook group, you could ask questions that you maybe didn't want to ask somewhere else, or it was 4 a.m. and you were up nursing or feeding a baby and you were like, I need an answer to this question. So it was sort of like an emergency SOS for moms, and it's closed. So it's a safe space. And then I was like, as soon as I saw more need, and I love supporting people, restaurants, friends, other moms, whatever, and connecting people. So I was like, as soon as this baby is potty trained and I have a little more space for myself, because I was doing flavor at the time, I'm going to add a website and give this more meat so that moms can dig in and find the local story times. If the zoo has a splash pad, like if you're visiting, where to go, whatever. I kept on having babies though, so the website took a little longer. So the website is, our first website is probably 10 years old now. And this is our maybe fourth or fifth iteration that's being born today. And so that's a place where you can go and you can research schools, doctors, events happening every day, free, and other things you can join. There's classes, everything to help support a mom. Like we do the research so that you can just pop on there. We save you the time so you can just enjoy the time with your kids.
Mm-hmm. So you have the Facebook group, you have the website, you have newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
And people can advertise and also share, they can share their events, but then could other businesses advertise on your site as well?
Oh yeah. I love local small mom-owned businesses specifically. So that's something that we like to work with and highlight local moms, but we also have national partners that make sense for moms. So depending on what the business is and what their needs are, we have, as long as it's something I would personally use or our team would personally use, then we do have advertising opportunities.
Did you ever imagine this was going to grow from a Facebook group 14 years ago to what you have now?
No, but honestly, the skills that I learned doing flavor kind of apply to this, maintaining and building a website, the advertising relationships, just the interpersonal interactions, it all skills that I had. And then being a mom was sort of a lane that I was in. So I was like, okay, well, and I get the nicest letters, probably once a month now. Someone will send me an email saying, hey, I was in a really dark spot with postpartum and I reached out and found some great support through your site. And I just want to let you know, because they had reached out to me before, I'm in a much better spot now. Or my family and I came down from New York and we had 10 days, had no idea what to do. Everything we found on your site. And I'm like, I love that. I was like a little part of your magic family vacation. I'll take it. That's so fun.
That is so heartwarming, though, and nice to know that you're having an impact in their life without even knowing you're doing it.
Yeah, it's really wholesome and good. And the same thing with flavor. One of my favorite stories is, a month after flavor was done, and you have a hangover after putting on flavor. You were like,
oh yes,
I am exhausted.
The biggest hangover ever.
I'm going nowhere. Don't talk to me. And I got a handwritten letter mailed to me from a waiter. He was actually from Three Forks. I just want to say, I'm probably going to cry. He just said, I just want to say thank you so much. He said, usually September is a month where I just get by and we rely on my fiance's income.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but thanks to you and thanks to Flavor Palm Beach and the restaurant, I was actually able to put a down payment on a condo for us. I was like, oh, I know. I still have the letter. It's so sweet. And I got a thank you note and flowers one time from Victor at Limoncello and his wife, Rob, who has since passed. They were just like, thanks for making our September and helping us look after our staff. And we really appreciate it. Oh, this is the best job ever. Are you kidding me? I love it.
It is. It is the best job because I think you have to want to help and be a part of it and really be a part of the community. And I love meeting all the people I meet through this program and being able to genuinely help. And I think, last year, the revenue for flavor brought to the restaurants $2.3 million, as per reported by the restaurants, just on flavor menus in September sold. That's not including liquor. It's not including upsells. It's not including anything but that menu.
Wow.
So if you could bring $2.3 million to these restaurants at that time where it's so slow, that's good. That's a good thing. It keeps people employed.
You need to be that person who cares and is patient, where you're making decisions for the good of the whole. And you do that so beautifully. I love getting to watch you take flavor to the next level. It's amazing.
I'm crazy. I keep adding layers. Every year I'm adding layers. So we have a lot of really awesome things planned for the 20th. And I want to tell everybody right now, but I can't. We just can't yet. But every year. So this year's podcast, next year's something else. And we're just going to keep going with it and building our restaurant community thanks to the footprints you set
Oh,
almost 20 years ago.
that's crazy. But you've taken it so much further in such a beautiful direction. I love getting to watch it and to enjoy. I just get to go enjoy now and have dinner with you sometimes, which is great.
I'm a little jealous that you just get to enjoy it now and that's it. But I do love our annual, you're my first flavor meal of the last 2 years. Hopefully we can do it again this year. Every year, we're just going to get our flavor meal in. And I hope to see you at the kickoff party. We'll have a big party.
Have you announced a date for that yet?
No, that's invite only, and it's a very secret party, so the viewers can get FOMO. But to that note, next year we will have limited tickets available to the public, so we can have the public can join in the party next year. Like I said, the 20th.
Big public party, but that's a whole. It felt like I was doing 2 events, like flavor and the party, because it gets so big. But but the thing about doing a party is that people really love being part of flavor, and I love like feeling their energy and seeing how much they enjoy it. So I bet you would love it.
I love a party. I love a party always.
Yeah.
It's like just life is like one big party. So we'll wrap up here, but tell the folks where you can find information about Palm Beach Moms.
You can go to thepbmoms.com or find us on Instagram at Palm Beach Moms.
Well, thank you for all of your ongoing love and support. And we got to get you down to the Palm Beaches. I might have to kidnap you for the month of September, just in its entirety.
Perfect.
And it'll be a great time. So, yeah, you could find Briana at thepbmoms.com. And you could find Flavor at flavorsouthflorida.com. And I thank you so much for being on today.
Thanks for having me. Always great to see you, Kerri.
You too. Thanks for joining me on Forking Around with Flavor South Florida. If you're in the industry, a business owner, or just want a better understanding of what goes into keeping restaurants alive and thriving, make sure you subscribe and share this episode with someone who should hear it. Flavor South Florida takes place every September from the 1st through the 30th between Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast. You can find all the amazing dining deals and participating restaurants at flavorsouthflorida.com. Until next time, keep supporting local and keep forking around.